We're here on day one of the IOM Radio Sailing World Championships at Datchet Water Sailing Club. This is the day of the qualifiers. The top three from each of these gets through to the top ranking group, and so the heat really is on.
IOM Worlds 2026 at Datchet. We've had months of preparation, putting together, getting initial permissions to hold this event, organising volunteers, putting together an organising committee, doing a lot of work on scoring to get accurate, auditable scoring together with an independent backup system. And we have a huge thanks to our friends in AFLEET in New Zealand who are supporting us during this event. We'll be using the HMS scoring system, more of that later on. Datchet Water Sailing Club is celebrating the 50th anniversary of its founding in 1976, which funnily enough was the year I went to the Canadian Olympics with Phil Krebin. That was the 2-minute warning for the first start. Datchet is one of 8 or so reservoirs around London and a superb venue for radio and dinghy sailing with a large focus on sailing and foiling in Datchet. From the vantage point we have here, we can see Heathrow, which is only 5 minutes away. We've got Windsor Castle to the west, and we're surrounded by gravel extraction pits which have formed over many years by the River Thames. The sailing this week, we've got 84 competitors from 26 countries, from as far away as New Zealand, China, Japan, USA and Bermuda. And they were all introduced at a little bit of an emotional opening ceremony last night where we were paying tribute to the sadly missed Ian Vickers. So this is the first of the 5 seeding races, and we'll be getting underway in about 50 seconds. So the course has a slight starboard bias to it, and you can see there's quite a spread down the line, although a big group of boats at the windward end. Let's let them get established. So the most leeward boat is Francisco Martinez, and the most windward boat is Norbert Heinz. Oh no, it's a general recall. Windward boat Tony Edwards. He did this yesterday in practice, and it proved to be a very successful outcome. So that was a general recall. So they will come back and start again. But it looks like Tony's idea of starting at the windward end was favourable. So the challenge with Datchet is the wind rolls across the reservoir because we're probably nigh on 80-90 feet above ground level. So the wind has to rise up over the banks of the reservoir and then it rolls across, which creates quite significant shifts in the wind. Often predictable, but sometimes you get caught out. So 1 minute 30 to the next start, and we'll see if a few more boats gather around the windward end of the line. So some of the favourites in here, we've got Steve Landau from the USA, Norbert Heinz from Germany, Dave Lindsay from New Zealand, we've got Robert Matuja from Croatia, Tony Edwards, Alex Scapians from Australia, Brian Shaw's from America, a recent winner over there, Carlos Beltri, brother of Guglielmi, and Gary McCarthy from Australia. So let's let's see how it works out. You can see a lot more boats now queuing up at the windward end. Leeward boat is Carlos Beltry, and you can see Tony Edwards again at the windward end, along with 19, which is Norbert Heinz. So here we go, 4, 3, 2, 1, gun. And it's another general recall. So just to explain a little bit about the scoring, so this is the first of 5 seeding races, and this will sort the competitors into order for the main racing. So the top 3 or 4 will go into Heat A, the next 3 or 4 Heat B, Heat C, Heat D, etc. Once we have a full fleet, there'll likely be, I think it's between 21 and 24 boats. The top 6 of Heat E will get promoted up to Heat D, and then in Heat D the top 6 get promoted up a heat, and then the bottom 6 get demoted down. So there's all to play for, and it puts a lot of pressure on the skippers, especially if they're fighting to get out of the bottom 6 or they're just outside the top 6. So 1 minute 10. Final minute again. And we have the I flag up, which is the round the ends rule. So if a competitor's over the line, they have to go round one end of the line or the other. Okay, a lot more queuing up at the windward end. Carlos Beltry 121. He's adopting a more conservative position to leeward. Just to windward of him is Ricardo Gonzalo from Argentina. 121 is Ulf Limburg. 63 is Ricardo Polono. And a little queue at the windward end. And the most windward boat with a good start is 23, which is David Lindsay. 81 was a fraction late, but at a good end of the line, and that's Baron Bremner. 19 at the windward end is Norbert Heinz from Germany. So they're off on a... Oh, there was a call by the umpire then. I think it was for 116, and he'll have to do 2 turns. But no, oh, here he goes. Yep, 116. Oh, that's really going to hurt. That's 1 turn. And another turn. So he's now firmly at the back of the fleet. So it shows the cost of a contact in fleets of this nature. I mean, he's got very little chance of catching up again. So as they go up to the windward mark, we have almost impossible to see their numbers from where I'm standing, so apologies for that. But as they get to the mark, we'll be able to identify who's who. I can see Dave Lindsay's one of the most windward boats, and I think he's in a very good position. But we'll see what happens when the fleet tack across. Looks like there's a header at the top end of the course, a header for the boats on starboard, so when they tack onto port, they'll get a nice lift. But the first boat's tried tacking across and he's been forced back again. Yep, the Yeah, so the boats on the port side are severely disadvantaged at the moment. Hopefully the camera's picking up the action. I'm standing at the leeward end of the course, so it's quite hard to see. And we're actually going around a gate, so I can give you some numbers now. First round is 33, which is Robert Matulja from Croatia. Second is 63, that's Ricardo Gonzalo from Argentina. And then Tony Edwards, number 75, Carlos Beltri, 121, and Brian Shaw's 117. So they seem to be, all of those went round the right hand gate, which seemed to be the favoured gate. It's quite a wide gate at the windward mark, so Robert's flying downwind, and I think he's in a slightly modified K2 sporting Sailboat RC sails, and you can see he's got some very bold sail stripes, so we can see the shape of his rig. But he's got a sort of 20-yard lead at the moment. Carlos Beltri is doing well. To leeward, looks like he's going to take the right hand gate. Robert's going for the left hand gate, and following him 63 is Ricardo Gonzalo. So there could be some action around here. So Tony Edwards unusually taking the right hand gate, but in a good position. .45 is Colin Cashmore, 63 is Ricardo Gonzalo, 117 is Brian Shaw's, 112 is Ulf Lindberg, 181 is Gary McCarthy from Australia. So now we've got the long slog upwind on starboard. It is a slightly biased course, and it's likely they're going to lay the mark in one. So 116 has been called a penalty, so he's going to have to do 2 turns. So basically, if there's a collision and the offending boat doesn't do a turn, and the umpires have spotted it, they blow the whistle, and he's got to do 2 turns, and he's going to be right out the back of the fleet. So a penalty turn in this event is a tack and a jibe. Quite often you see people just do a jibe, which means they haven't completed their turn, and the umpires are watching out for that. So it looks like the 2 boats that went round the leeward right-hand gate, or the gate nearest to the shore, looks like they've gained. I think Carlos Beltri might now be in the lead. Tony Edwards looks like he's moved into 3rd, and Robert Matulja from Croatia, he looks like he's dropped back to 2nd. Yeah, they've laid the mark in 1, basically. I've just had a text in from my brother who says, "What's your job there?" He's obviously, we'll find out when we get on YouTube. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it, my name's Nigel Barrow. And I'm working with the Evergreen Productions team, who are providing all the footage, and we also have Mark Jardine, who's doing a fantastic job writing daily reports, as well as taking unique footage of the competitors, which you'll see on Facebook and YouTube as the week progresses. While they run down, I'll mention from a media point of view, we will be posting videos of each of the races on their completion. So when a race is complete, we'll be uploading that race to YouTube, so it should be online within half an hour to an hour of the race finishing. There may be a slight delay to start with as we sort of organise the process, but that's our plan. And then there'll be regular updates on Facebook as we run through the day. Okay, so here we come to the final leeward mark, a fight between Carlos Beltri 121, Robert Matulja from Croatia and Tony Edwards in an R2V2 design which was put together by his son James Edwards. This is a relatively new design. Carlos, I think, is in a Venti, Robert's in the modified K2, and then behind 63, what does that look like? That looks like a Venti, and then another Venti from Brian Shaw's, who's made up a bit of ground, and they're moving up now to the finishing line. Next round is 17, which is Steve Landau, and then 112 is Ulf Lindberg, 45 is Colin Cashmore, then 19 is Norbert Heinz, and 106 is Alex Scapians from Australia, and then 181 is Gary McCarthy, and then 81 is Gary McCarthy, and 181, no, I got that wrong, 81 is Baron Bremner, 181 is Gary McCarthy. Apologies for that.
Holding area.
Okay, so here we go up to the finish. Got a little focus on the finish there. So first across with a good lead is Carlos Beltri. So he'll go straight into A heat for race 1, and then Robert Matulja is second, Tony Edwards third, 63 Ricardo Gonzalez is fourth, Brian Shaw's got into fifth. Who's that? Oh, I can't see the next one. Apologies, all the numbers have disappeared. Bit of a gust on the water there. So they will be sorted into their heats for race 1, with the top 3 or 4 going into heat A and the bottom 3 or 4 going into heat E. So that's the conclusion of the seeding race heat E. So welcome again, this is seeding race heat D, and my friend Craig Richards, my tuning partner, is in this, so I look forward to seeing him have a good race. Key names in this, Paolo Petrini from Italy, Chuck Milligan, nice guy from Bermuda, was at the Australian Worlds, Adam Barboza from Bermuda as well, Martin Roberts, 22, a past world champion, Paul Jones, always at the top of the fleet and a top 10 worlds finisher, he's number 48. Mark Gollison from the USA, number 55. He's been suffering from, he had a bad meal somewhere, I think, and wasn't very well. Claudio Vaz, 66, from Brazil. And yeah, so we'll see who is going to win out of that. So as you can see, there's bias, starboard bias on the line again. They've moved the windward marks out a bit, so they shouldn't lay the windward mark in 1. We'll see how it goes. So big Q for the windward end, but in the Datchet chop, it's forcing them down the line a little bit. It's very hard to hold station in one place. So out at the windward end is number 31, that's Lionel Massali from France, and then 142 just under him, which is Sven Forenza from Croatia. And here we go, quite a few now down at the leeward end in clear start, including my friend Craig Richards. So there's 87 and 40 having a little close sailing, and out to windward 31 is Lionel Massali. He's probably, if he can hold a lane, he's in a really good position. But again, 142, which is Sven Forenz, is probably in the best position, because no one's going to be able to tack and cross in front of him unless there's a significant shift. So thankfully the wind's gone round a little bit. They've moved the windward mark further out to windward, so this will be a much better beat. So Martin Roberts, number 22, oh, you won't see this on camera, but Martin Roberts has gone right out to the weather side, and there's a nice band of breeze coming which may help him get back into the fleet. Didn't have the best of starts, but he's now in a good position, driving hard. And then right out to windward, again you probably won't see him. I'll just get my binoculars focused. Okay, I'm struggling to see them at the moment. Let me just get my binoculars in shape. So, furthest boat to windward is 48 from Australia, which is Paul Jones. To windward of him is 31, which is Lionel Massali from France. This is going to be a hard one to read, because again I'm standing at the leeward end of the course, so we'll wait and see where they are at the weather mark. Looks like the boats that went all the way to port have had the advantage. I think there was a left-hand shift halfway up the beat, so it put them in a much better position, and they've been able to cross the starboard tack boats. Now, if we have a gate, I think it was a gate like before. Looks like everyone's gone for the right-hand gate. Oh no, they've changed the course. It's now a spreader. So there's a windward mark and a spreader. And first one round is Mark Gollison, closely followed by number 10, which is Jan Springer. Then we have 142, which is Sven Forenz. 14 is Paolo Petrini from Italy. And then looks like 08, Jan Massé, make up the sort of the top 6. So it's a fast run. Breeze has gradually increased this morning. No nose diving yet, definitely not B-rig conditions, but a good test for the A-rig. So Jan Springer from Poland has got a significant lead here. And we have, okay, he's round the gate, and looks like the left-hand gate is favoured. Mark Gollison going round there. Next is Sven Forenz, 14, slightly out of control. Paolo Petrini from Italy, and then the viz of, 2 viz in fact, go round side by side. So 40 is Tonko Puljits. I hope I got that name right. My apologies if I didn't. So a bit of a split in the fleet. So some have tacked early to go up the left-hand shore, and it looks like the boats that have gone out to the right particularly, where is he? Well, the green boat, you can see number 10, Jan Springer. He went out to the right and he seems to have gained significantly. In fact, he's probably now got about a 40-yard lead. So the boats that went left, I think, have been disadvantaged because there's been a slight right-hand shift. So the fleet just settle into a long haul up on starboard now. Later on we'll start zooming in on boats so we can have a really good look at their settings, but for the moment we're just looking at sort of general shots of the fleet. Windsor Castle, funnily enough, is looking very nice now. The sun is shining and Castle's looking glorious. So very few boats have gone to the left-hand side. Most have gone for a sort of middle right-hand course with a long starboard. And here they're coming up, leaders coming up to the windward mark for the second time. And around he goes with a good, healthy lead. And that's Jan Springer from Poland, and he's gone round the spreader mark, and the next boat's just gone round the windward mark, so he's got a, fingers crossed, a guaranteed win there. Let's hope that's not a commentator's curse. Next round is Mark Gollison. I can tell that from his sail stripes. I think he needs to jibe. Yeah. Yeah, so Mark Gollison's second. Third is Craig Richards, so Craig had a good beat. Glad to see he's up there. He needs to be in the top 3 to get in the A heat. Yeah, this is a massive lead for Jan Springer, and he's either sailing a Venti or the new variant. I'll have to check my design list, but wow, he's miles ahead. Okay, so here comes Mark Gollison into the mark, followed by Craig, followed by 76, which is Glenn Dawson. Glenn's all the way from Australia. Oh, Craig's taken the left-hand mark as we look at it. Yeah, wisely he's put a quick tack in to get out, and he lost a bit of ground doing that, but he's still going to maintain third position. So there's Craig sensibly tacking on the green boat in 4th place. And in fact the green boat's going out to defend his position against the Veers, and I can't see the number, I'm afraid. That's the boat with the green deck. He's tacked back. Oh, that's number 14. Number 14 is Paolo Petrini from Italy. So crossing the line, it was so I lost track of the finishers there, but you can see on the screen who's the order of the finishers. Good to see my mate Craig Richards up in the top, and he should be in A heat, which is where he needs to be. So Craig Richards is sailing a 3D printed Proteus boat, and Craig started on this project over a year ago, and I worked with him, and within a year I think he had developed 24 different versions of a design. It was almost as though one weekend he would be sailing his boat, he'd have a few ideas about the design, he'd go home, he'd update his CAD file, and then during the week print out a new boat and have it on the water the following weekend. And the end result is the boat he's sailing today, which is performing extremely well. Okay, that's it for Heat D. We'll be back with Heat C in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. This is now seeding race Heat C. And interesting characters in this race to keep an eye out for: Graham Elliott, Lunaning Chen from China, Paulo Wolper from Chile, he's in number 13, Lunaning is in 12, Graham Elliott's 9, Rob Walsh, past world champion, he's 25. Actually, a comment about Graham Elliott: he's sailing his Britpop. He's number 9, sailing the Britpop that was in the 2011 World Championships, and he finished 3rd in that, behind Pete Stollery, the winner, and Brad Gibson, who was 2nd. So yeah, it's a really old boat, but boy does it go quick. Who else have we got? Gary Winton from the USA in 54, which is my number as well. Paolo Cappa from Italy, he's always one to watch out for. Tim Hand from the UK, and Remco Sol from the Netherlands. So here we go, lining up for the start, and I can tell you the wind has shifted left because I'm looking at a windsock just to windward of the course. So it'll be a really solid beat this time, where there may be potential to come in and explore some lifts off the left-hand bank of the reservoir. So there are a few boats way out to windward of the start line. They need to get in quick. Bulk of the fleet is aiming for the port end of the line, and it's Lunaning Chen from China right at the port end in pole position. Rob Walsh just tacked off, he's in 25, and Tim Hand in a good position looking in 3rd, he's in 134, the orange boat. So the green boat, Lunaning Chen, is a Vis, Tim Hand is a Britpop, and Rob Walsh is in a Venti. So other boats tacking in shore. So this is getting really tricky now. The wind's gone light, there's a big chop. Looks like the boats that tacked early off the start line are slightly disadvantaged as the wind's beginning to go very much left of the course. And in fact, looking at the windsock up to windward, it's gone even further left. So looks like Lunaning Chen in the green boat in the middle of the camera screen. I think she is going to come out of this looking very nice, unless the wind does a huge left. The Vis loves these conditions: choppy, light weather, big powerful rig. But now look at the boats on the left hand side, they're getting lifted. So yeah, so now the boats to the extreme left look to have the advantage. This is a classic Datchet shift in the wind. Sometimes when it comes off the wall, it goes left big time. But the windsock to windward is now straightening up a bit, so we may see a header. So likely we'll see Lunaning Chen in number 12, the green boat, cross nicely ahead of the boats to windward of her. Looks like Tim Hand in 134, the orange boat, has tacked on to starboard. He looks to be in 2nd. Rob Walsh looks like he overstood the mark. He's reaching down now, but where's he gone? Yeah, Rob Walsh looks as though he's in Oh, he's going to be in second. So obviously paid to be out there. Rob Walsh goes round the windward mark in second. Big fight between 134 and 38 in third and fourth. Sorry, what number was that? Right, there's 38. 38 is Patricio Montero from France. So we got Lunaning Chen, Patricio Montero from France, Graham Elliott in 09 in the old Britpop, Tim Hand in another Britpop, 93 is Soren Andersen from Denmark. Those are your leaders, but Lunaning has got a very nice lead, thank you very much. She's sailing pretty much a brand new Viz, looking very nice going downwind. So we'll watch them come down to the leeward mark, the leeward gate, which is number 2 and the yellow buoy. And Rob Walsh sneaks in second, Graham Elliott just behind him in 09, Tim Hand 134 just behind him, so 3 Brits following each other. And then 193 is Remco Sol from the Netherlands. He's doing well, looks like a wooden boat. So a bit of a split in the fleet, 2 going to the left, everybody else going out to the right in the lake. And the windsock to windward suggests that the right hand side will be the favoured side. Interestingly, Lunaning Cheng went all the way out to the left, and now she's probably on a near ley line to the windward mark. And sensibly is tacked under that ley line, because if the wind shifts right, then she won't have lost any distance overstanding the buoy. So Rob Walsh went to the extreme left. He's in 25 in the yellow boat, and we'll see how he's come out over Chen and who's the other one? 38 Patricio Montero from France. Patricio's just tacked out. No, he hasn't. He's still on starboard. Rob Walsh has crossed, and he's still in second by the look of it. He's still going out, trying to establish a windward position. Oh, he's going a long way out. Interesting. Okay, Rob's tacked well to weather, which hopefully he's not too high of the ley line. We'll see how he gets on. I think that might have been a mistake. Starboard tack boats, port tack boats coming across now, and they're having to do a lot of ducking. So it looks like the right-hand side was obviously the favourable side of the course. Lunaning Cheng tacks round now and has got a nice lead. Second is Patricio Montero. Third is Rob Walsh, so he did drop a place up there. Fourth is 93, which is Soren Andersen from Denmark. And then there's Tim Hand. Where's Graham Elliott? Where's number 9? Oh, there's number 9. So we'll see how they work out around the leeward mark. But it looks like Lunaning Cheng is going to win this. And it'll be between Patricio, Rob Walsh, Graham Elliott and Tim Hand for third place. I think this is going to be quite a tight finish. So the wind's eased, the gusts have gone through, So the last beat to the finish is going to be a real challenge with the boats bouncing up and down in very little wind. You can see the wind's gone to the west again because only a few of them are goose winging downwind. So just a short beat to the finish now. Chen looking very comfortable. Now there's a big risk because the leeward gate's quite wide. 93 from Denmark, Søren Andersen. He could make a big gain by coming round here. It just depends whether there's wind inshore. Quite often when you come near the shore you get a bit of a bounce of the chop, so it can be a little slower on the left hand side. Right, the battle between Rob Graham Elliott and Patricio Montero is heating up, and in fact the Dane who went round the left hand gate has gained significantly, and he may end up second. So 93, yeah, fantastic. So Søren Andersen, he's going to be in second. Lunedin Chen has just won and got the whistle. Who's going to get? Graham Elliott has just snuck in with second. Looks like Soren got third. 193 has got fourth. Tim Hand fifth. So yeah, we'll have to look at the results to see exactly who finished where, but that's the closest finish we've had of the top six in these seeding races. Really challenging conditions with the wind rising and falling. So we've got a few tail enders to finish. Yeah, that was a really good race, really interesting race. Nice that we've got a decent beat now with the wind having shifted more to the southwest. This is great racing and Datchet at its best. So hopefully the competitors are enjoying it. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Okay, well that's it for seeding race Heat C. On to B in a few minutes. Hello and welcome back to Heat B. So 2 more seeding races to go, and the wind is looking good straight down the course, maybe a tiny bit of starboard bias, and looking at some of the puffs, there are a few right hand shifts out there, and all the flag, yeah, there's probably slight starboard bias across the whole course, but the wind socks out to windward are all pointing in the same direction, which is good news. So start line is the same. My guess is there'll probably be quite a crowd at the windward end of the line, but we'll see. Very hard to tell from here. 50 seconds to go. So 05, Marin Bijak from Croatia. Looks as though he's going to go for the port end of the line. Peter Feldman just coming down on port now in 44. He wants the port end of the line. 64 is Barbatza. 73 is Alex Carré from France. 67 is Pierre Mechin, again from France. 2 boats locked together. Oh, 3 boats locked together. 3, 2, 1, gun. And 126 in a nice got a good start there, is Josh King, and he's nearly tacker out to port. And interesting, as I look up the course, there's a left-hand shift coming down, and Peter Feldman will probably get the biggest benefit of that, being the most left-hand boat in 44, although there is 147 Torren Clem from Norway. If he's got the speed, he should come out in front. But I put my money on Peter Feldman in the copper-coloured boat, 44. Josh King has pushed out of the middle. He's in the dark blue boat, sort of the point of the arrow in the middle of the fleet. I think the boats to the right hand side are probably going to suffer because of the left hand lift, and in fact the windsocks are moving more and more to the left now. So yeah, look at the lift that Peter Feldman's got. That's really going to hurt the people out to the right hand side. Special feature of Datchet for the competitors. So you have to watch those windsocks all the time. And now they're starting to move back again, so that will favour the boats on the left hand side. They'll keep the shift, then hope, oh no, the windsock's gone left again, so it gets better for those people on the left hand side. Josh King is now coming across in 126. He's the dark blue boat. He's in good order, in fact. Peter Feldman's tacked in 44, and the yellow boat out to windward has tacked as well. So those look like being our leaders. And the boat heading out to Windsor Castle, just tacking, he'll be just behind the pack. Big starboard header up at the weather mark. That's going to make life tough trying to get round, because the boats will have tacked on the ley line and now the wind's headed. So you can see the yellow boat just by the windward mark is going to have to tack. A short tack. Peter Feldman's coming in. Oh, this could be interesting. Peter's tacked and tacked back. Green boat's tried to cut inside. Oh, and he's in trouble and probably on the mark. That's going to really hurt. And he's still struggling to get away. Now, does he have to do a turn or not? We shall see. So, coming down, just get my binoculars. Sorry, been a bit remiss. So, leading is actually Josh King has snuck into the lead. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but yeah, Josh King is in the lead from the UK, so he's GBR 126. Norway 147 is second. 73 Alex Carey from France is third. And Peter Feldman, well actually Peter Feldman he's either going to be second or third. But yeah, Josh King is flying downwind in the Brad Gibson design Pop, which was a slightly narrower version of the Britpop and proved to be very successful. When Brad brought that out, he won the Nationals. I think it was at Fleetwood a few years ago, which was my first ever IOM Nationals. So Josh is taking the fleet out to the starboard side. Seems to be that the right hand mark is favoured. Josh has tacked into a massive starboard lift. Oh, that is so good, and so is Peter Feldman. So that's going to put Josh nicely ahead of the fleet. So further back, what have we got? Alexis Carey is second or third. It depends whether the wind heads as they go up the beat. The green boat in fourth is USA 64. That's Barbatza. Who else have we got up here? The yellow boat 147 is Torvald Klem from Norway. So yeah, Josh is flying. It's good to see. Not that I'm biased from the UK, but it's good to see a Brit up there now and then. So just watching without the binoculars. The boat that went inshore, the green boat, has come out quite nicely. Be interesting to see where he is in relation to Peter Feldman. In fact, I think he's crossing just behind him. So those are our top three. They'll be the ones that go through to A heat in race 1. Okay, Alex Carey tacked for the mark. He might be a bit low. Yeah, he's a bit low, being forced to tack. So Josh King first, Peter Feldman second, Alex Carey third. And then let's see who's fourth. Going to be tight at the mark. Oh, I'd say the yellow boats. 64 is third from USA, so that is Barbatza. He's got round cleanly. Oh, there's a real mess up there. Okay, well, we don't want to comment about that. That'll be for the judges to sort out. We'll see who does a turn. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. So, amazing. Look at this. The leaders are nearly at the leeward mark, and there are still boats going around the windward mark. So there's a huge spread in the fleet. So it's a three-way fight between Josh King, Alexis Carey, and Peter Feldman. Peter going for the opposite mark. Don't think that'll work for him because the wind has gone left. So Alexis Carey has tacked, obviously trying to get some distance from Josh King, and he's obviously seen that there's a left-hand shift coming down the lake. Maybe he'll get some advantage over Josh. Great view of the boats from here. So 64 is Barbatza, 67 is Pierre-Yves Mechin from France, 105 is David Rimos from the USA. Most boats now, well, the last batch went round the left-hand mark, and look, here comes Olivier Cohen. Not sure whether he'll be unusual to see him in this position. So leaders have finished. There goes Barbatza. And then 67 was Pierre Mechin from France. And then I can't see his number because he's tacked. Okay, who's this? 69 is Stan Wallace crossing the line now. Olivier Cohen just crossing. And then 11 is Matteo Longhi going through the finish line. So those are our leaders. And Josh, so who is it? Josh King, Peter Feldman and Alexis Carey will go through to A heat. So that's the end of Heat B, and we'll be back in a few minutes for Heat A, and then we'll get on to the racing proper. Okay, welcome to Heat A, and this one is packed with good people. We have Ante Kovacevic from Croatia. We've got Zonko, the last world champion, number 35. We've got Peter Stollery from the UK, the last UK world champion. Romain Dubray from France, Darren Ballington from the UK. Oh, looks like they've abandoned the start for some reason. So we've just on hold for a little bit. So it's going to be Britpop versus Vis. What have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got 3 or 4 Vis out there. We've got a couple of Britpops. Breeze is up. So we're now sort of getting to top end A-rig conditions. So it'll be interesting to see who has the advantage. Zonko's a master of driving the Vis in these conditions. So we'll see how he gets on. And Pete Stollery, you can never ignore Pete in this sort of condition. He might not be the quickest, but he's certainly one of the sharpest sailors on the planet. So 1 minute 30 to go. And oh, there's almost a nosedive out there. Yeah, there is a nosedive at Italy 113. That's in a Venti, I believe, or either a Venti or a GC34, one or the other. So my money would be on Pete Stollery at the moment, but it depends if the wind stays up or if it fades away. Looks like the line is starboard end biased. Ante in Croatia 30 is setting up for port end. So is Zonko, interestingly. And then 144 to windward is Vedran Vezanovic from Croatia. So Croatia want the port end, and now here comes 113 Allo Cavallio from Italy. Yeah, they're all coming down this end now. This is going to be an interesting start, and the wind's heading. Zonko with a nice little gap. And here they go. Oh, that's got to be a general recall. Yeah, general recall. I saw 46 jump the gun, as did everybody else. Okay, so reset. Here we go again. It's amazing, none of these seeding races are easy. There's some really good people in each one. Now as I look down the course, it's interesting, the wind's gone a little bit right and there's a lot more breeze coming down. So there are 1 or 2 white horses. Nothing too significant, but it's really going to put them under pressure. Tacking will be a challenge. Yeah, it still looks like heavy port end bias at the moment. My favoured windsock has gone left, so that would suggest port end start, head for the bank, and then put one out, hoping the wind heads once you get out to the ley line for the windward mark. Ante lining up first in 30. 37, Aaron Farah of Australia is going backwards. Now he's got himself sorted out. They're going to struggle to cross the line on port. 47 is Guglielmo Beltri, who's going backwards and now under control. Zonko and Ante both fighting for the port end. I think they're going to struggle to cross the line. Oh, 3-0 and 4-7 over the line. And who got away? Guess who got away nicely? Zonko. Zonko's tacked and he's crossing everybody and heading out on a what looks like a long port tack. 37 is Aaron Farah, Australia, who looks like, oh, Zonko's just crossed him. So there's a gaggle going out and a gaggle going up the shore. So we'll follow the ones up the shore because there's always a bit of exciting action there, as boats have to tack off the bank. And so who's going to do well? Zonko's gone sort of middle right and the boats on the left are going extreme left. It's anybody's guess what's going to happen here. We'll let things unfold. Looks like Darren, who's that, 98, that the blue boat going across on starboard is Darren Ballington. Looking to do a bit of a left-hand flyer, I suspect. Not sure how that's going to work out. One of the advantages of being where we are with the camera is we're about 30 or 40 feet above the water, so we can look up the course, we can see the gusts of wind coming down, and follow the windsock. Of course, if you're a competitor, you're so focused on your boat and driving it fast, you tend not to be able to see the wind shifts quite so easily. So ploughing up to the mark, you can see there's another band of breeze coming down. Should cause a good bit of tension for the mark rounding. My windsock says it's just a dead beat at the moment, which is good for the competitors. And we'll see leaders getting close to the mark. So we'll see who ends up around the mark first. I thought Zonko was going to be, oh, there's Zonko coming in on port into the mark. And oh, he's just oh, I think he's on the mark. No, it's not spinning. He just got round in third. No, he did hit the mark. He's doing his turn. Well done, Zonko. So in the lead is, would you believe it, Peter Stollery, GBR, past world champion when it was held at West Kirby. Second is 77, which is Romain Dubray from France. Pushing out to windward is USA 46, which is Sean Bradley. The umpire's called a penalty on somebody. 77 is Romain Dubray. Zonko is in. Oh, he's come storming down on the run. Okay, here they come down to the leeward mark. So Zonko's ended up 5th out of that. He needs to gain a couple of places if he wants to go into AFLEET, and he's got mark room on 46. So that puts him into 4th. Just such a good sailor. He's got so much boat control. You can see the boats going around the leeward mark, and they're all just falling off in each other's wind at the moment. Yep, there goes Zonko tacking up. 24 is Jean-Pascal Morel from France. So Zonko driving up the course. The windstock's very stable, so I'm not sure which side of the course is going to going to pay off. It's noticeable that boats are starting to crack off a little bit to ease their sheets, so they get more speed in the breeze driving through this chop. But ploughing out to windward and gradually increasing his lead is Mr. Stollery in 39. I said before the start, you never ignore Pete. He's such a canny sailor, and he's got that Britpop going like a rocket ship now. So I think he's a certain bet to win this race. Glorious to see. So Pete's boat was first in the 2011 World Championships. It was it's basically one of the 3 prototypes that Brad Gibson put together. One sailed by Peter, one sailed by Brad, and one sailed by Graham Elliott, and they were first, second and third in the 2011 Worlds. So this is still the same boat, albeit Pete said he did have to change the rig and his sails a couple of times, but what a performance in this first race. So you can see the breeze now right across the course. Really is just cracking conditions for IOM sailing. We are blessed. If we had these conditions all week, it would be a fantastic championship. But we know it's going to get warmer and it's going to get lighter. So some of our foreign competitors will be looking forward to the dizzy heights of 25 degrees later in the week. Well, we hope it'll be 25 degrees. Knowing our forecasting, it'll probably stay cold. It's probably about 15, 18 degrees at the moment. Not too bad. And it's not raining. So, coming down the run, Pete Stollery is leading. And if I focus my binoculars, 77. Romain Debral from France is second. 37, was that Austin, 37. Aaron Farrer third from Australia. Where's Zonko gone? Yeah, Zonko's still 4th or 5th. That hitting the mark at the first windward mark has cost him dearly. To Zonko's right is 46, which is Sean Bradley, and 24 is Jean-Pascal Morel from France. So those are our leaders, and round the leeward mark they go. Pete's taken the opposite mark. He's taken the inshore mark, which hopefully won't hurt him. He's tacked out to cover. Oh, a bad tack. You see the challenge here of tacking. I don't know whether the camera got that, but 77 tacked and got stuck head to wind. That's going to help Zonko because he might be able to sneak a position. So we've got Pete Stollery first. Australia, Austin Farrer looks like he's second. Romain. There's Pete finishing. Yep, Austin Farrer. Was it Austin Farrer? From Aaron Farrer, second. 24, Romain. Jean-Pascal Morel, third. Yeah, Ante is back a bit in this. So, those are our leaders. And then the rest of the fleet coming in. So, now there's going to be the big shuffle. The heat board will be prepared, and then we'll get straight into Heat E of Race 1. So I think we'll let these guys finish and we'll be back and see you for the next heat. So thank you very much. We'll talk later.